So now the real title of this talk. I should sit down. Okay. I want to show you some tools, some minor things, some shortcuts, and different tools to help to be more productive, to help to make things more faster and faster. Um, just I have a summary of different things, and if you have some things too which I not present, we can put it into the document as well. So I make this talk about 3 years now, and every time there are more things we can add to this document. I will link this document. It's on GitHub Gist, and I will link it after the talk, so you can put some new fancy things into the comments below, and I will put it on in the main document. So okay, let's start with a cool documentation site which requires JavaScript. Oh, come on. devdocs.io. This page is full of documentation, and you can on the left you have the possibility to look for other for all the documentation parts in there. We have something like jQuery, jQuery Mobile, Laravel, Haskell, if anyone is programming Haskell, C, C++, C, Bootstrap. Nearly all I know is in there. Even not Hyper-V. Okay, it's not in there, but yeah, we know it Hyper-V, so we can use the other one. There are some projects which are in the documentation by default, and you can add or enable other ones. So let's try, for example, Drupal. No. Git. I can enable, and then it's in there here too. And the best part of it is the search. So if we want to search for example, anyone, a word we can search for. Typo. Typo. Security policy violation. Yeah. Type of, we find here in JavaScript, and you have good documentation about this thing, for example, for type of, with examples and all stuff. And we have some CSS. Maybe we can look for hyphens. Click on it, and you have a documentation with manual and examples in there, really fast. And you can put this on your local machine into the local storage of the browser and have it offline. So you can look for documentation when you're not online. It's really cool. And here's the actions install. These are installed yet on my machine. I can install Git as well. It's 3 MB, up to date. And now I can even work when the Wi-Fi is down again here. So this is the first page I wanted to show you. Is anyone working with APIs and REST APIs, for example, many times? Yeah, JSON and other interfaces. There's a good Chrome app which is called Postman. Who knows this? Okay. not everybody, but I can show it. Postman. Where's Postman? It's here. Here I have Postman. It's available in Chrome App Store, but it can be executed as a separate program application. And I have the possibility here to send requests. I can use an URL. I can change the type of the request. I can change the type of authentication for this request. I can change the headers and other stuff. And for example, I have here the possibility to get the latitude and longitude for some address. Here's the best example for Jugendherberge Düsseldorf, this location here. And when I sent this request, then I got the body, the response from Google. I can get it in pretty, in raw, preview. I can see the cookies, if there are any cookies set. I can see the headers which are in the response. And the best thing for me is I want to have this request in PHP code, for example. So I can go to the top, have a little button code, and here I can select which kind of code I want to use this request. Here's JavaScript, jQuery, for example, and I can see in PHP, I can say I want to do a HTTP request with HTTP from PACL or curl. Then, for example, say HTTP request, and I get the code for it. So I can copy paste it into my code. Not all. Postman token is not really important, but there's a very fast example of code you can use in your application. And you can use it for any interfaces, REST API and some API with parameters. You can use post as well. In post parameter, you can add a body. You can do all the things. It's really cool for testing it. I have, for example, a customer which where I can use the API to get the products of the customer with all the information, and I can test it here. Yeah. So Postman, Chrome App Store. There will be a link in the document where you can download it. Question?
What's also really cool is so you can create groups there and add your request to the groups. For example, if you have a request which gets you a user data or which authenticates you to some user storage, you can create these requests, save them, add them to a group, and export this group and share it with other team members so that they don't have to go through all the documentation stuff. They just get your request, can execute them, and see directly how they work and the results. So that's an additional cool feature about this program.
Yeah, that's really nice. So you can share your requests, and export it to the others.
Yeah.
So they can use this. For example, it's stored OAuth2
Correct. There are
token you
also
can store in it, and then nobody needs to get a new token or something
correct.
like this.
There
Yeah,
are also
for testing.
several
Only for testing. Yeah.
there are also several authentication types given. So
Yep.
when you have an API which is where you need authentication, you can choose some predefined authentication types. For example, basic auth, or for Amazon AWS, there is an authentication type where you can add your credentials. So
Yeah.
it's
For example, for
it's also
Facebook,
easy.
the
And for
Facebook
of
graph,
course, yeah.
yeah, there's an OAuth exception.
So that you don't have to go through all the authentication by yourself. You just enter your credentials and the tool is doing the rest.
Yeah, these authentications are working. Basic auth, digit auth, OAuth 1 and 2, Hawk authentication, and AWS signature.
Correct, yeah.
So it's a very powerful tool to get testing the your application very
Yeah,
fast.
thank you.
So next time, if anyone is raising his hand, first wait for the microphone. Yeah. Okay, so that's the second one. I will come to the PHP Storm at the end. So this is the biggest one. So I present you some stuff before. Now I have some tools for Mac OS only. Anyone here without Mac? That's pretty much. So just in short, okay? Which everybody with Mac is knowing, maybe Alfred. Who knows Alfred? It's not a guy, it's a program. Yeah. It's a really cool tool for getting fast results in. I want to open a program. I want to calculate something. I want to start start an SSH connection very fast. I can use some workflows. Alfred has built-in workflows. So workflows are everybody can program a workflow. It's really easy, and you can integrate the workflow into Alfred. And Alfred has this. This is on my screen now. So let's synchronize shortly. When I use this shortcut, it's Command and Space on my computer. I have this little field in here, and I can do I can search, for example, for documents. It's really fast, like Postman. I can start, or PHP Storm. And there are some workflows in there, for example, to calculate, or not to migrate to I don't know the word now, from timestamp to datetime, for example. Yeah. I use a prefix here, and then I can say, for example, now, and I have the timestamp from now. And with enter, I have it in the clipboard. It's really fast to get the current timestamp. For example, when working on type 3 code exception, you always put the error code is the current timestamp. For example, that's fast. Or I have a timestamp, and I can see this timestamp, for example, is the 17th June 2022. And when I go down, when I type enter, I have this in my clipboard automatically. There are some other workflows that I have to think about. I only use the timestamp. You have here the workflows, Alfred Timekeeper. I can keep track of my time for my projects. And here you can see the workflow program. It's a little bit complex here, but it uses, for example, run scripts. I can look into it. That's not that much what is here in it. It's really possible to make workflows really fast for your own purpose. Keep your computer awake. Calendar. Yes, we have calendar. No, there's my calendar. Currency calculation. Can try dollar 179, and I have all the currencies, for example. And there are plenty of workflows available online for free. This one is also nice. Down type of pre-org. And he tests, is it down or is it not just me? There's a website down for everyone or just me, or down for everyone or me. This is calling a Giphy search. The dictionaries was really cool, but it's not working anymore. Movie and TV show search. I need to, I think, movie. It's incompatible. I see. Password generator. TVGen. Dictionary words. Pronounceable, some nonsense words. ASCII characters with punctuation. And so on. So you have a password really fast. So this is really nice for things you do often. SSH. Theme is not working anymore. Vagrant, I don't use anymore. Whois. It's out a website. Okay. Okay, enough for this. There's a power pack in Alfred. Alfred is for free, but there's a power pack you can use and you can buy, and I think it's about $15, and you have a license for all. And I suggest to use the license. $15 for one time. It's okay. Yeah. There's also a nice thing in there. It's snippets. You can do some snippets into it. So if you have some string or some text you often use, you don't want to look up for it. For example, my public key, SSH public key, I have in the snippets. And if I am at a website, where can I need a text editorial, text edit? Oh, from my talk yesterday. Snip, public key, and here it is. Directly, or something I always use very often. This one, or a number I always forget is my VAT ID, Umsatzsteuer ID, German. So there are plenty of ways to use the snippets. Okay, that was Alfred. The other one for the Mac users is a database program, SQL Pro. It's really cool to have all the databases in there. You can connect to the database, for example, to the extension repository live database, if the connection is working. You have the tables. You can export and import very fast. There's nothing in there. So let's look into the extension table, for example. You have a quick overview. You can see the structure. You can make an SQL query inside there. And with a little shortcut, Command-Shift-E, you can export the whole thing in SQL file and zipped. Yeah. In a whole table, it's not possible. You can only search in one field. Like for example, front-end user. Any front-end user name here with extensions? Yeah, the camera guy. Do you have a front-end username for me on Typo3org? What? T3 Easy. So let's look how many extensions T3 Easy. Janka. Here, this way. Okay. Yeah, it's the same one for Windows and nearly the similar application is called Heidi SQL. So you can do nearly the same things in there for Windows users. For the Linux users, I don't know any nice user interface for databases. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the last big part. It's PHP Storm. One little thing for macOS users, Homebrew. If you need a package manager on the command line, there are nearly all packages I know of. So get to PHP Storm. Just open it. Need to. Sorry guys, it's closed. Maybe I use it this way. Okay, everybody knows PHP Storm. The first one, when I'm using PHP Storm on a Beamer, there's a presentation view. Navigate, view, enter presentation mode. So it's bigger, you see everything, even the wrong indentations in this case. This is Typo3org page, by the way. I'm currently working on. My two favorite shortcuts in PHP Storm is the one is double shift. Who knows it? Okay, for those who doesn't know it, double shift I can double shift and can search everywhere. So I can search for documents. For example, I want to edit the show HTML, and then I get the results with the recent files up there and other files. The recent files are the files I edited before or opened had opened before, and I can switch very fast to another document. And the other one is Command Shift A or maybe Windows Shift A. I don't know the Windows command. It's also a little modal where you can search something, but you can search for actions in the menu as well. So, for example, we have this kind of ugliness, and I want to convert the indentation. I first either I use it. I use the no when I type in it's tab, but I want it to have in spaces, so I mark this kind of code, Command Shift A, and I say convert indents. So I have it now. I have it on a fast way to spaces to tabs, and I can select it and it's done. Or if I need to adjust the setting like deployment. Oh, that's not, yeah. I can deploy it. There is no deployment built in here. So what is also available? So for example, the CVS, or I can search for Git and have all the menu options which have something to do with Git in one window. That's really fast, because if you want to search it here, yeah, where is it now? Even the presentation mode would be faster here. Presentation mode, exit. Now I'm exited. So no need to search for the in the menu on the top. Just use the shortcut and type in what you want to do. So get back to the presentation mode. So now I have to look for other things. You know, who knows live templates? Yeah, that's not all. Okay, live templates you can. I learned now live templates. It's faster, yes. Live templates, there are plenty of live templates built in PhpStorm. You can add your own live templates. Live template is, you can start in the code with a special keyword, and it puts your template in there, what you use often. For example, let's go to the PHP file. Any PHP files in here in this project? No? Classes, controller, yes, here we are. And the presentation mode again. When you type, there's always some autocomplete, and you can see, for example, the second part, for and then E. This is a live template. So if I select this, it gives me the for each part, and I can say for each all, use the tab to go to the next one. I can say item or value, or I can put it myself in there, and again tab to get to the next part. So you can, the live template can give you the possibility to jump to the positions where you have to change something, and after it, the last position is where you have to insert your code. And you can add your own live templates. There's an if template, for example. No. Function template, pub, public function. Or private static function. And I'm directly in the function name, get all, tab, I'm in the brackets, no parameters, again tab, and I jump into the function. So This saves you some seconds per function. And what I've, for example, added for unit tests some live templates. You can say test, which do I want to test? Test float, for example. My cursor is in get, so I say get float value tab, and it's done. And if you can see there are two tests, get and set, mainly for testing models, getter and setter, and you can edit the live templates here. For example, in PHP, these are all the live templates in there. And there I have test float. Here's the template text, which will be inserted. And here I have the possibility to set variables. The property which I type in here will be inserted here again, here again, here again, here again, and here again. So I have the possibility to code snippets, which I use very often, to put it in a live template. Another good possibility for live templates is I did it in the where is it? Level 3, yeah. TCA parts. I'll put it directly into this PHP file. TCA inline element, for example. That looks not nice. It must be inside of an array. TCA inline. And it gives me this code snippet for TCA, which I always have to look for in the reference. So I can put it in a live template and it's fast. And here is the field. I have the first cursor is in a field, so the field is called T3DD18. And then I have to fill in the extension, maybe T3DD17. And the local lang foreign table, it jumps to the location where I have to put code in. PT content, foreign field is Volpos, for example. And at the end, I'm at the end of the array and I can go further. TCA input, for example, and then I have an input field by default. These are live templates. Then what you just see was this kind of autocomplete of tables. So this part is a plugin you have to insert into PHP Storm. It's the Typo3 CMS plugin made by Cedric Seal. And it has not only this autocomplete for tables, it has also the possibility to use autocomplete of the globals, and I have all the functions and methods of the globals variables, which is not there when in PHP Storm without plugin. So I have to always say globals TSFE is a TypoScript front-end controller, and then I have the autocomplete. Now I have the autocomplete without doing this. That's kind of fancy, in my opinion. content. Oh, this was, for example, FE, user, and then in there I have name, maybe. So it's faster with auto completion. You don't do any typos or errors inside here. This plugin is called Typo 3 CMS plugin. And here you can see if what is in there. Auto completion for calls to icon factory, line marker, type provider, what you've seen already. Service locator, return type, make instance. That if you use make instance and get one class in a variable, you can use the you have the autocomplete in the variable you got. I can show you. For example, page renderer. Make instance, page renderer class. And after this, you have the autocomplete. Without using a comment to say this is the page renderer for PHP Storm. Yes, for the configuration backend. Completion for built-in TCL renderer types. Yeah. For example, you have an input field or a select. Let's get back to our TCA. For example, TCA single select. Yeah, TT News. It's awesome. And render type. You get the autocomplete for the render type you can use. That's awesome, isn't it? Yes. One question, microphone, please. Or one addition.
Does it work with custom render types? So if I register further render types?
I don't know. Ask Cedric. I didn't tried it before, so no. For built-in TCA, I don't know. Code inspections for the inject, for example. Code generation, action controller, fluid styled content element. Yeah, you can download it, install it, and test it, and look for what is built in there, what I didn't find until now. Okay. Another plugin I want to show is the Joomla support. What? PHP inspections, EA extended. Who knows this plugin? Okay, it's getting less people. So more new for the others. Okay. PHP inspections, you know the inspections you get. For example, here the red line, here's something missing. That's the type of VCMS plugin because he cannot find a translation for this in the local lang file. That's why it's red line below it. But with the other, let's go to another PHP file, which is more, which is older. Maybe real well we find some stuff. For example, here inject is highlighted. Let's see other things. I know where to find it. In my type of reorg, there's plenty of bad quality code. Let's have a look. You need this plugin, Stefan. Controller, my profile controller. We surely find something. No? It's really beautiful. Here's one thing not so beautiful for you, yeah? So maybe I need to put bad quality code for my own, but I don't know bad quality code. If, for example, you want to have the first character of a string, maybe you can do this way and say 01. So I get the age of the no, not if. So here it's highlighted. So he gives you the hint that you can use hello with the with brackets. 0 might be used instead. Invalid index accesses might show up. So he suggests to use hello bracket 0 bracket close. It's faster and it's not that many errors. So I can use Alt or Option key and enter. And then he gives me the possibility use array access, and he rewrites it. And now it's better code, better understandable, and faster. And this EA extended plugin gives you many possibilities to make the code better quality. Gives you the hints, and you can use the hints or use the suggestion or not. That's your option. But would be nice. Other plugins that I use, editor config maybe. To who knows editor config not? Editor config you can use in a project to define which indentation and the which type of indentation and the number of indentations for every file. And the editor config plugin searches the editor config file you can define in your project and use the PHP Storm is using this indentation of the editor config file. So, example, we have an editor config file in here. There's a URL. You can read what editor config is exactly doing. And we have the possibility to say, for example, CSS files. All CSS files have indent style tab and indent size 4. HTML files tab and 2. And you can define all the files, for example, TypoScript files. And the plugin editor config is using this editor config file and gives and is using it when I am editing a file. For example, HTML file. It's currently tab and 2. We saw it on a HTML file before. Show HTML. I'm in an HTML file, it's completely wrong indented. So we set top and 2 spaces. It's currently space and 4 indent size. When I'm doing a new one, no, it's not doing. Okay, now it's, yeah, just forget it. It's not working, sorry. Vorführeffekt, you say in German. Yeah, so maybe do a not new HTML file. So there's the indentation with top and 2 spaces at a size 2 and top. And when maybe I'm in the wrong project. It doesn't in my. I say top from top to spaces and say, for example, 5. Save it. You see, it works. Not the first top, but when I say top size, spaces and 5. So you can define in one project all the indentation types and sizes for all people who are working in this project. There's no need to, every person has to adjust his PHP Storm. So the PHP Storm looks for the editor config file, and you don't have to go into the settings for every new contributor and set the indentation for these files. Okay, how many time do we have left? I don't know. 25 minutes? 1 hour 15 we have, yeah. Okay. Other things. Yeah, some things some people did not know. If I'm working in the Git repository, in the file which is in the Git repository, and I change something, you see the green bar on the left. If you click on the green bar, you can revert these changes, roll back. I don't know, some people didn't know this in the last session, so I present it now. But I think everybody knows it, isn't it? Okay, yes. To code style. I have to go. No, not here. This. You know the code style part, where you can set the code style, for example, for PHP incomplete. With typo 3 has switched to PSR2 coding guidelines. You can go to the PHP Storm, go to code style PHP, and here's a set from predefined style PSR1, PSR2. You can use this to have it PSR2 like coding guidelines before going through every step and set it. You can set from a defined style. For example, Symfony 2 is in there. WordPress, I don't know. Yeah, Yeah, there is no code style. Yeah, and here's also the tab size indentation that you can set, but use tab characters for the complete PHP, but you will get some angry developers if you do this. So let's look what we have now yet. The productivity guide under help is also nice. You can see how long is PHP Storm uptime, idle time. That's too much. Code completion has saved you from typing at least 705,000 characters since 2013. Yeah, that's nice statistics. Go to files I used 3 times and all that stuff. That's no help productivity guide or productivity guide. Okay, close. What do we have now? Settings repository. Share settings in team. Who knows this? Okay. Not settings repository. You have many settings in your PHP Storm. That's not only coding guidelines, that are deployments, that are Xdebug, for example, some other settings. You can export the settings and you can import the settings. You have not export the whole settings, but only parts of it. And there's the possibility to use a Git repository to save the settings, and everybody can put a URL to the repository and have the settings shared. So one guy or one girl is sharing the settings, exporting it into the repository. Everybody can point to the repository and get the same settings. That's maybe important for teams with many people. Every time settings on every PHP Storm, a new guy comes in, new contributor, new laptop, every time new settings. So use the settings repository and you're fine. Support for multiple repositories in your project. That's also nice. If you're working with a project website, for example, I have maybe you. No, that's okay. We have one website, for example, the extension repository. That's inside of this folder. Here's the document root. Here's the composer file. And this folder is an own repository. If you have another repository inside it, you can work in this repository, for example, in an extension. This is one extension, for example, Composer JSON. I have to look. The T3O layout extension, for example, or just use RealOL. I get RealOL by Composer. It's imported by Composer, and I have it in type3conf-ext folder. Here is the RealOL file. And when I want to work in the RealOL file, in the RealOL folder, I can set it, it's imported from Composer as a Git repository. When I go into the settings of PHP Storm in this project and I say version control, I can add a subfolder. Oh, now it's gone. Now nothing is working anymore. That's cool. Not cool. Ah, here it is. Directory. So applications where I'm now. PHP Storm projects. No. Docker. Extension repository, HTML, typo3 confx. Real well. I can open it. And I say git. Oh, it seems that there's no Git repository. Okay. I use the T3O layout, which is also get by Composer. T3O layout. I added it here in the directory T3O layout. I can remove this and add it again. Also hiding. TR HTML typo3 confx T3O layout. Oh. Open, and it automatically gets the Git repository. When I edit here in the version control area and say OK, then I can work in the folder T3O layout. Change some lines of code. And then I can commit and push in the repository of T3O layout and not the TER. Because we have a Git repository in there. And when I work on it and I say git commit, for example, then I work only inside T3O layout. All other parts are not included in this commit. Only this Git repository is used. So you can use Git repositories inside other Git repositories and work on different files and commit only in these repositories. I hope you understand it, you get it. Okay. That's nearly all I can show you, or most important stuff. Do you have anything that it's not mentioned? Yeah? So the microphone, just wait for the microphone. In PHP Storm or other stuff? Okay, so we can try it here live.
Yeah, if you control click on a class or function name in the PHP file, it shows you all the usages.
Yeah.
And you can jump straight to it.
Okay,
Really
let's
nice. I
have a
use it
look.
very
For
often.
example, process login. When I click on it, yeah, okay. Maybe here. Yeah.
Pretty nice to use, I think.
Yeah. You can see where it's used. This class, for example, flyout Ajax login controller, or go to the standalone view. When clicking on it, you can jump directly to the class. I have many classes in there, but I can jump to it. Command, Option, and left. I can jump back or forward with left and right. Command, Alt, Command, Option, and left, right for Mac users. Windows, I don't know, but it's nearly the same. Yeah, another one was here.
I just now found out, I don't know exactly which plugin does this, but I think it's a Fluid plugin from Stefan Skalinski.
Yeah.
So it adds support for the view helpers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you add a view helper, you can get all registered parameters which the view helper defines, or if it's public or okay, it's the free version.
I don't know. That's right. Okay, now Fluid template. Okay, and what is happening? What can you do? You have it here. Ah. Now I'm in the view helper. Command and click. And I have the auto completion. Ah. Um, 4 and the auto completion for each, all, all. Yeah, it's iteration you can use, and yeah, yeah. When I click on iteration, I get directly to the register argument and can look into the code. Yeah, that's nice. I didn't try it. Yeah. Microphone.
Yeah, I have the microphone.
Ah, okay. I didn't see.
Speaking of Fluid, because I hate the inline syntax of Fluid, there's a website, fluidconverter.com, and you can convert your Fluid syntax to inline. Fluid minus converter.
Converter.com. Ah, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nice because
So let's see.
I'm too retarded for Fluid syntax.
Now let's look for really ugly. Yeah, this one. Ah! Let's try it out if it's really good. Yeah, I need JavaScript. No. Convert. Then undefined. That's nice. Okay, but it works for smaller ones. For example, yeah, if condition is maybe news item dot UID 47. Oh, it's without without auto completion, it's really hard. Okay, for example, this one. Where? And maybe add some content, yeah. That could be. Yeah, it works, yeah. Yeah. Maybe with this. That's a pity. Okay. Anything? Yeah, Marcel.
Might be obvious, but you can use Command Alt L, and I think it's Control Alt N on Windows to format your code corresponding to your code style and your editor config. So if you have crappy code, your wrong intention, you can just mark some snippet and
Mark some snippet or
Command Alt L or
reformat
do
the
it for the
code
whole file. Right.
complete line. Reformat file. Run. Nothing happens. Ah, sure, open. But it's not that nice. Always that nice. So yeah, yeah,
All lines changed because someone before had
yeah.
the wrong intention.
Here
of
in the
file
in
and stuff
the
like
in
that.
the upper part, something changed. But if you have, for example, some crappy PHP code before changing it, format the lines for indentation, for example, or other stuff, to have it in the current CGL coding guidelines. Yes. So I have the gist here. No, not. Oh. Here. You can find it in GitHub Gist. Helpful tools to concentrate. Just go to github.com, SpoonerWeb. And I have not that many gists, so I will put the link into the Slack. And you can look into it and you can add it in the comments what you are missing above. For example, the fluid converter. You can add there. And there are some things like clip menu, clipboard manager, DevDocs IO workflow for Alfred. That's a combination of the fancy stuff. CSS vocabulary, cross-platform Git GUI client. Heidi SQL for Windows as alternative to SQL Pro. Editor config is in there. Yeah. And one little thing I use on the Mac as well. I found a blog post using better CLIs. And there is some stuff you can install on, I think, Mac, of course, but I don't know if it's Linux as well. Some, for example, this. Oh, not this. I have. It's such kind of auto completion, for example, when you using SQL. Glances is a tool for a top-like tool. HTTP, yes. Small tool to not remembering the curl parameters. One thing I often use is my history, but with a nicer SSH, for example, and I can go with my arrow keys to this I want to use in the history. So I can search in the history and I get the results and move to them or point to them. Little bit nicer than the normal history search. Yeah, you can find some stuff here in this blog post as well. And if you have something done, just put it in the comment below the gist. So then I'm finished for now, if no one has something to add. Okay, then thank you.